Yes.
The Taliban was created there, created by Pakistani ISI.
The Taliban are clearly Islamicists, so there was a political affinity there, and again, there were domestic reasons too, Pakistani domestic reasons. Benazir Bhutto's relationship with the ISI was always a little shaky. And there were, while it's been suggested that initially Benazir, as much as anybody, helped to create the Taliban, but the ISI later really grabbed onto them, and a lot of that had to do with domestic politics, and also, that's all I have to say about that.
What did he just stop himself from saying? Well, let's look at what he did say. He said Pakistani intelligence, the ISI, set up the Taliban for domestic purposes. So for what purpose would Pakistani intelligence want an anti-statist pan-Islamist force within Pakistan?
A number of Afghan Pashtuns with whom I've spoken have told me that there are two long-standing separatist rebellions in Pakistan. The Pashtuns in northwest Pakistan, represented on this map in dark orange in the upper left, and the Balochis in southwest Pakistan, in tan on this map in the lower left, have never wanted to be part of that country, and they have been fighting for their independence since Pakistan was established in 1947. The Punjabis, who dominate the military, Punjab is represented in green, are not willing to allow this. However, many Afghans believe that peace in Afghanistan will only be achievable when Pashtunistan and Balochistan are granted their independence. The reason for this dates back to 1893, when Sir Mortimer Durand drew a line on a map.
In the 1890s, after many years of conflict, it was finally decided that they would formalize an actual border area between, Afghanistan and British India. And Sir Mortimer Durand led a British delegation that negotiated with the Emir of Afghanistan at the time, and the British and the Afghans negotiated over a couple of days, and the Durand line became the, quote, official border between the two countries. It happens to cut right through the traditional Pashtun homeland. The British took all of the high areas, left the valleys on the other side to the Afghans. It's been a debated border area for many years. Many Afghans claim that they were forced into accepting it, that when British India no longer existed, that it was the line the border was no longer accurate. Some people suggest that the line, it was initially decided that it was only going to be good for 100 years. I've never been able to see this in any of the diplomatic literature, though. But it's been a debated line. It's a virtual line. If you take a look at the Durand line, some of it's at altitudes of over 20,000 feet, and it goes through some of the most rugged area in the world, and it doesn't have a clear demarcation like a river or a particular geographical area. It's just there. So it's always been hotly contested, not only because it cuts right through the Pashtun homeland, but also the way it was initially formulated in the 1890s.
I understand that it actually cuts through the middle of some Pashtun towns.
Absolutely, there are certain. There are certain border towns where you might have lunch in Pakistan and go use the loo in Afghanistan. It literally cuts right through some properties. There's a number of different villages that straddle the border, and of course that makes it very difficult to control. But that's a whole different subject.
This next part is about 5 men who were killed just for doing their job. 4 accountants from Union Texas Petroleum and their driver were assassinated in Karachi, Pakistan in November of 1997.
Yeah, I did know all 4 of the people that were killed. 2 of them, Joel and Tracy, were very close friends of mine. We had done a lot of stuff together. Tracy and his wife Jackie included my partner and I in a lot of things that they did, as did Joel and his wife Lisa. We were at their weddings. Tracy and Jackie were already married at that point. Tracy was actually the executor of my estate, and a close friend. And it's hard for me to talk about him.
I'm sorry. This diagram shows how the Union Texas employee's car was chased through traffic, pulled over, and shot into from two sides. Why would anyone want to kill a bunch of accountants?
Well, you know, I guess it depends. You know, the only reason I can think of that you would want to do that is, as an audit manager, is if I came across a major irregularity that somebody was trying to hide. You know, when I went back to the funeral services in Houston, I just knew that all four of them were there. I didn't know until probably I spoke with you that Joel and Ephraim were there first, and that Larry and Tracy were called in. That would have raised red flags to me the minute I heard that, because that's just not the way the business works.
The guy from the African, you know, the bad thing about it, one was a nationalized citizen from Africa, you know? And he's one of the young kids, yeah.
How long had he been with the company?
4 years, 3 years. 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you could say they had a lot of political clout and they could do these type of things. I don't think that would have been the outcome. And if you were actually trying to make a statement, you wouldn't find 4, you know, worker bees to go after. You go after, you know, some a little more authority.
Yeah, that's right. Terrorists don't target accountants. People with something to hide target accountants.
In Texas, at the time you're talking about, had no shareholders. We were wholly owned. We were
Yeah,
we had one shareholder. He owned all the shares, and that was Allied Corporation.
right.
Now, why would he tell me they didn't have any shareholders? In 1995, British Petroleum buys Arco Oil and Gas, and in 1997, Arco buys Union Texas, which results in British Petroleum holding a stake in the Badin oil fields.
The financial irregularity of something going on in Pakistan that would have impacted the sale, it would have impacted major stockholder value at that point, and could have, depending on the extent of the issue that they might have found, could have even potentially stopped the entire purchase of Union Texas by Arco Oil and Gas.